This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Well, I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I got out of the house early today to deal with a plumbing issue down at my place of business and forgot to bring a jacket and even a clean white shirt to change into. So you get casual Roby today for your Talk Business and Politics Daily. I did remember my computer, and so here's today's program. First of all, there was a lot of action in the state Senate today on solar energy and clearing the final hurdle for the LEARN's education reform plan that will now go to Governor Sarah Sanders' desk. We'll talk a little bit about that. And we also will play part of our interview from this Sunday's Talk Business and Politics, where Representative Lundstrum, Senator Clarke Tucker talk about what constitutional amendments may find their way in referral to voters. Stick around for today's Talk Business and Politics Daily.
Talk Business and Politics Daily is brought to you by Wright Lindsay Jennings Law Firm, Impact Management Group, and these sponsors.
We proudly deliver reliable, affordable, responsible power across Arkansas. But demand for electricity is strained by the elimination of sources we need for always-on reliability. And adding intermittents like wind and solar cannot replace workhorses like coal and natural gas that we all count on. Power must be balanced for your needs and our mission. Reliable, affordable, responsible. We're the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas.
Connection. It's the heart of what we do. It's why we work to better the communities where we live and work. It's why we're expanding to get people connected and create digital equity programs that support affordable internet and digital literacy. We're leaders for positive change. From the way we empower our people, clients, and communities to the way we care for our planet. We live our values every day. We're Cox Communications, and we're pleased to connect with you.
Together we can create an Arkansas that places children and families at the very top of the agenda.
We can create the type of Arkansas that we have always imagined.
Arkansas Advocates as an organization is the glue that can put all those families' voices together.
Well, today, the Arkansas State Senate spent a fair amount of time debating solar energy as well as education. Here's what happened. First, Senate Bill 295, the Renewable Energy Development Act, has been amended to a compromise between leaders of the state's utilities and the state's solar energy industry. The issue centers around cost shifting and net metering. The utilities have contended that solar users are paid too much when they put power back on the electrical grid. The compromise tends to address that. Over a week ago, a Marathon Insurance and Commerce Committee meeting hashed out the debate before the compromise was announced. The Senate passed the measure today 24-9. Senate Bill 294, the governor's LEARN's bill, cleared its final hurdle in the Senate today. The Senate had to concur in a clarifying and correcting amendment that was added in the House. The amendment was adopted on a voice vote, then the full Senate voted 26-8 to pass the bill. The governor expected to sign the bill tomorrow. When we come back, Representative Lundstrum, Republican of Elm Springs, Senator Clarke Tucker, Democrat of Little Rock, talk constitutional amendments. Stay tuned.
We're back with more right after this. Talk Business and Politics Daily is brought to you by Wright Lindsay Jennings Law Firm, Capital Advisors Group, and these sponsors.
One of the things that I really liked about UAMS College of Health Professions is that they set me up for success. I chose UAMS because I felt like it was a great place to work. My grandmother was diagnosed at UAMS for multiple myeloma, and I felt like it would be a great way to pay back the place that helped my grandmother so much. And that's why I went in the healthcare field in the first place, is to help someone just like they've helped my grandmother.
For your education and healthcare needs, choose UAMS.
This is what we work for. The moments you live for. The joy. The heart. The wonder. At Entergy, we're dedicated to powering each moment. Today and for future generations. So we're leading the way with a cleaner, more reliable power grid to power every day. Because these moments matter. We power life. Entergy.
Well, Representative Robin Lundstrum, Republican of Elm Springs, Senator Clarke Tucker, Democrat of Little Rock, both have their names attached to several proposed constitutional amendments. It was a subject of conversation on this Sunday's Talk Business and Politics.
Constitutional amendments are something that's going to come up. You both have some activity on that front. Representative Lundstrum, you're the lead on a constitutional amendment that would basically allow lottery scholarships to be used for vocational and technical schools, which do not allow now. Tell us a little bit about that. And Senator Tucker's on that with you.
Yes, he is. I think it's something that a lot of us agree on both sides of the aisle. When the lottery was founded, there was an oversight, and we left out VOTEC. And if we were really serious about VOTEC education, we need to put that back into lottery scholarship. And I think that's something that will give us a huge return on investment. And I'm hoping it will be one of the ones selected. We'll see. Well,
you got like 90 sponsors on it, so I think it's got a pretty good chance of doing that. You're on that bill too, for the same reasons?
Absolutely. I don't really have much to add beyond what she said. I totally agree. I would love for that to be one of the amendments that we refer out.
All right. You also have an amendment that you're the lead on that Representative Lundstrum is not on this one. It's to basically create jungle primaries in Arkansas. That's what I call them. It's where everybody's on the ballot in the spring primary, and then the top two vote getters advance, whether that's Republican, Democrat. Why do you think we need to do that in Arkansas?
Well, I think partisanship is one of the greatest threats to our country right now. And the way that it works right now, primaries determine most elections, not just in Arkansas, but throughout the country. Take the U.S. Congress, for example. There's 435 congressional seats. How many competitive congressional races are there in the country every election cycle?
There were 3, I think.
Right?
So, no, I'm kidding.
It might be 40 or so in that range, which means there's almost 400 districts that are determined, those races are determined in their primaries. So at that point, your political incentive is to not get outflanked on the extreme rather than work with people on the other side. And this is why we have total gridlock in Washington and they can't get anything done, because they have a political disincentive from working with people on the other side. And the other problem with it is you're not representing your entire district. You're only representing your primary voters. And this is not a partisan thing to me. I'm not saying this is about Republicans. It's about both parties. And so if you have 2 Republicans on a ballot in November or 2 Democrats on a ballot in November, at that point, you're answering to every voter in your district and not just your primary voters. And we get back to a point where we have representative democracy. In a sense, you're representing your whole district and not just those who vote in the primary.
You're opposed to that one?
Oh, I'm definitely opposed to it. I like the fact that Clarke puts on the Democrat shirt and he proudly wears it, and I put on the Republican shirt and I represent the Republican Party platform, and you know what you're getting. When you look at that Snickers bar, you can turn it over and see what's in the back of it. When you turn over that Republican Party person, you can look at the platform and you see what they sign up for, and the voter has some information. And I think that's good for the voters to have some transparency. They can see what they're signing up for, and when they go to the polls, they're putting on that shirt and they know what they're getting. So I think that's really important.
I think you're both peanut butter cups is what I think. So all right.
I'll just say, even in the open primary system, you still sign up with a party. Yeah. So you don't lose that transparency.
All right. You've also got a proposed constitutional amendment, Representative Lundstrum, that would take us back to partisan judges, which we used to have in this state probably 20 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that. Why is it time to change that back?
Well, we had that up until the year 2000, and it is difficult. It's difficult for the judicial candidates when they're running for office, and it's difficult on the voter, who is the ultimate customer, and they have to figure out who is this person in the black robe that's deciding my fate. I don't know anything about their worldview. I'm not asking them about issues. I can't do that because they may have to someday vote on those issues, but I can't even figure out what their worldview is. Who is this person? So I can't ask anything, but I'm supposed to somehow blindfold and guess. And that doesn't work. Again, we know more about what's in our Snickers bar than we know about what we're voting for a judge, and I think that's inappropriate. It would be nice to have a little bit of information.
30-second rebuttal.
A person's worldview is not relevant to their job as a judge. I clerked for Leon Holmes, who was nominated by George W. Bush, and every Democratic senator voted against him when he was on the Senate floor. And I worked for him for 2 years, and politics and worldview never came up once, because your job as a judge is to follow the law, not to impose your own personal ideology. So your ideology is not relevant when you're a judge.
All right.
And I would firmly disagree, but that's okay.
That's Representative Robin Lundstrum and Senator Clarke Tucker. You can catch our full conversation at talkbusiness.net. And that is all for today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. Check out our website at talkbusiness.net for more coverage of today's action from the state Senate. I'm Roby Brock. Until tomorrow, take care.